All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are coming from. We are here this morning. I'm here this morning to give you your power call. Tell somebody. Go tell somebody Dr. Cheryl Clarke is on, and she has a power call for girls of color, women of color, and she's beginning to move this movement. Can you feel it? I feel it. I feel like something is happening for us here at the Speak Your Power Now movement. If you haven't met me before, I'm Dr. Cheryl Clarke, and today I'm the author of Girl, You're Cute book. If you haven't gotten it, you can go ahead to Amazon and go and get your copy today. Not only get your copy, but share the copy out. This is why we're saying that the links are there for you to be a part of what we're doing. So go ahead and greet each other in the background here. We'll greet everyone and say good morning in the chat room. Say good morning. Let's say good morning. Say good morning. Say good morning. Let's greet each other. Greet those brown faces in there. Greet each other before we do our Speak Your Power Now declaration. If you don't know, Speak Your Power Now has a declaration. Yes. Good morning, Irene. Thank you so much for sharing. Good morning, Sharonda. Good morning. Good morning to you. Where we are today, we're pumping it up. We're moving it up today. So before we get started, I want to just say that we have a Speak Your Power Now declaration. Good morning, Charlene. Thank you so much. If it's safe for you to do that, go ahead and do that. Good morning, Shani. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, so let's get started. If you have the book, it's right there in the very beginning of the book, the Speak Your Power Now declaration. Take a nice long, so deep breath in through the nostrils and exhale that out. Take a nice long, so deep breath in through the nostrils once again and exhale that out. The Speak Your Power Now declaration. Today, I reclaim my power of purpose. Take that in. Today, I declare that I have unshakable faith and confidence in my uniqueness. Today, I declare that I will not live in fear, but with power, love, and a sound mind. Today, I declare that I always communicate with words to empower myself and others. Today, I declare to always honor myself by living in the present and living powerfully in each moment. Amen and Ashe. All right, so if this is your first time here, I want to welcome you, that you will always come back and you will join with the women here that are finding their power, moving with their power. And this is a place for a safe space, I would say. And I'm back here ready to cut through all the noise that we've probably been hearing and all the things that probably been taking up space in our mind and our place. So what I have really been for years, I have created this company, Speak Your Power Now. I'm a psychotherapist, but I'm also a space. I hold a space to educate people, especially people, women of color, to be able to move and to be able to move in your own power. And that power is your voice. I noticed that a lot of things that happen is the power of our voice. And it's taken, and we don't even realize it's taken. By the time we turn around, it's like, oh my God, what I should have said that. I wouldn't. Are we playing small? What could I have done? So today's call, we're going to talk about you powering up. That's the time. For you no longer shrinking, you no longer apologizing for taking up space. This is your time. So before I get started, I just want to let you know this is for educational purposes. It's not psychotherapy. This is not group therapy. This is for educational purposes. We're doing a little coaching here. I am not your therapist, but I am your wake up call. Let's talk it like that. I'm your power call for today. And you want to be, I want you to first know, I want you to first know that when I wrote the book, Girl, You're Cute, I wanted to tell my story from my lens and then also give a space of understanding there's some therapeutic tools that I utilize that I've seen clinically that have helped other women find their voice. See, here's what I know about you already. I know that you're capable. I know that you're smart enough. I know that you have looked at your spaces in the lens of understanding that you may have been people less qualified. Why did they sit in that position and you didn't? Well, I want to let you know that it's time for you to begin to lean in. It's time for you to speak up. It's time for you to find that authentic voice inside of you. And maybe why it hasn't been working is because there's some things that we've been taught. And the reason why our voice disappears, it isn't because of lack of confidence. We heard in the call last week that she said, I feel like I'm competent. And it's not about the lack of confidence sometimes. It's because you're playing by the rules that you were never designed to win. So today, I'm going to have a power up truth call with you. I'm going to power you for your day. You're going to stop believing some myths right now, what they told you. You're going to begin to see how you can move in this area of your life and stop and not have your head down. Stop apologizing when you come into the room and really, really stand in your power. Because you have to realize that your power. So let me ask you a question. This is a reality check here. How many of you have been the smartest person in the room and you still didn't talk or speak up? You knew the answer. Or how many people in the room that you've known the answer and you felt like people just talked over you? Or how many in this room feels like you know the answer, but you feel like you wasn't qualified enough? I want you to look at these responses. Charlotte says me. Thank you for that, Charlotte. See, I want you to look and think, because guess what? Think about it. This is not an accident. You think about your qualifications. Shawnee said yes, or afraid to be judged for my own. Yes. Because when you look at this, I want you to look and see when I say these things. See, it's about harnessing your own power. And see, power inside of you, nobody taught us to stand in our power. Nobody actually taught us to speak our power because we were so busy trying to not offend, to not be, to want to be liked, waiting for us to ask them to give us our opinion. You're waiting for that permission. Remember a couple of weeks ago, I talked about waiting for permission. And you keep apologizing when you do say your things. How many people step into the room, or step into a conversation, I'm sorry, it may not be what you want me to say, but, how many times do we say that? How many times do we go into a conversation and that conversation, for they ask, you are waiting for them to ask you for your opinion. We don't have to wait. So what if I told you, you no longer have to sit in that space and you don't have to play that game anymore. It's your power game. You're going to step into your own power. And if you don't know how to play the game, you begin to look and see, how can I play this differently now? Because we got to look at life as a game. Look at life as a play. You're your director. You can have the artist. You can add anybody you want a part of your play. You can cast them. But this is what happens over the time, what I've learned from being a clinician. Survival strategies are killing some of our successes. So let's talk about what really happens to your voice. Okay, there's some things that really happen when you learn to make yourself small because you keep making yourself smaller to be safe. But what you keep safe at 12, 15 has now crept into your 30-year-old body, 35-year-old body, 40-year-old body, 50-year-old body. And those patterns that you've learned to shrink yourself, to apologize before you even say anything, what do? What might you say now? Or you'll say this, Shawnee, this may seem like you. Thank you, Nicole. This may sound like somebody. This may be wrong, but sorry for interrupting, but I used to start every statement like that sometimes. I think I think this may not be right. See, the thing is, you can begin to consider, even in the uncertainty, I want you to look at yourself as having the power from within to stand in your power today. Instead of thinking that maybe I should not say this. So today we're going to look at our strategy a little bit. I want you to look at your strategy. I want you to see, what is it that I specifically do? What is it, that thing that you do? I want you to own it, because the thing that you do is a thing that you probably learned in your teenage years, things that you probably learned going such a long time ago. And this is where you have a choice. Here's what nobody wants to talk about, especially women of color. We've mastered the art of that code switching thing. We've mastered the art of changing our voice, changing our energy, the entire presence at times when we enter, depending on who's in that room. And it is exhausting. I know I got really, I would look at my women, my competent, confident women, and I think about how we're playing a game, or we're playing from rules that we were never taught how to really stand in our power without having to ask permission, without being called the angry Black woman, or she's not competent or confident, or she's strong enough, she can handle it. You hear that one? So they say things to you that diminish you. So I want you to realize how you can actually say this thing in the space. So Shawnee, when you feel uncertain, you feel like you don't know what to say in the moment, and you feel like your voice is taken. You can actually say in the moment, I would like to suggest something. Perhaps we can do this. Did you ever consider this? I'm thinking about this approach is not working. Can we do this instead? That's a confident statement. Or you could choose safety, or you could choose a powerful choice. Both you can do, but this is the point. Your full voice, your voice, unapologetic. It's not too much. It's what you need to begin to move in your power. Now, there's ways to do this. Now, there's not a way that you don't, I'm not saying that not aggressive or anything, but you want to be assertive in your talking. And the first thing we got to do is see how you have to stop asking for permission to be you. You don't need to ask anyone to be you. Now, if you want to shift some things about you, that's fine. And in the moment, you're going to see Nobody's coming to save your career. Let me just, no, actually, nobody's coming to save you. Nobody. Nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's going to tap on your shoulder and say, hey, you've been waiting. We've been waiting for you to speak up. I want you to take that power. Remember this podcast today is about power up. The power of movement that you need to do. Start speaking like you belong there. Start doing it like you were there, that you're confident and competent enough that I'm the woman for the job. Start giving yourself, start saying that my opinion does matter. You need to start talking to yourself because your opinion does matter. So this is a power call. I'm powering you up for today. I'm giving you that fuel you need to step into whatever thing you need to step in. Start taking up the space like you own it. I don't believe that you were a mistake. Listen, how many sperms did you beat out to get on earth? So why on earth will you waste it? So in this moment, think about a meeting or a conversation that you're about to go into today. And I want you to see how you can fully stand in your power. I want you to also think about how you stand back possibly and let others talk. Just take one word to describe what you may have went through or going through. Shawnee says judgment. Someone else may say fear. Maybe that imposter syndrome that, oh, Cheryl, you know you're too stupid to do that. Oh, you know you're too fat to go in there. Oh, you know you're too black. See, these are the real voices. And yes, you can, I would say, the enemy talking. It's not about your qualifications. It's not about your intelligence. It's that fear that tries to creep up on you. So here's a little antidote. Here's a little thing that I want you to grab onto today. Stop, like Shirley Chisholm. Stop trying to earn a seat at the table. You're already at the table. Bring your own chair. Okay? Now use your voice so you can feel like you belong there. This is your week. This is your day. Until we meet, and you can tell me how you showed up in that meeting, how you showed up in your own house. Not because someone asked you to, because you know you got something valuable to say. Now, here's the thing. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I want you to say what's really holding you back from your voice. How do I handle something if they come for me? What if I speak up and it hurts the relationship? How do I know how much to push in and push back? And see, these are the things that I help people to recover the voice. And it's time for us to stop playing small. It's time for us to stop waiting for permission. It's time for us to stop apologizing. So this is what I want you to do this week. You can send it to me directly. You can tell me what you did. That one conversation, just one this week. Maybe you could do it daily. That you didn't sugarcoat your words. Now, this is what I will say, and the declaration talks about never use disempowering words to yourself or others. Never do that. See, your voice is power, but it also that means it's powerful. So be careful how you use words to people. Everything you say and everything you give and everything you want to be. The world doesn't need another quiet, polite you. It needs you to be proud. It needs you to stand in your power. It needs you to also know that you have power and that you matter. So take it from me. This is what I want you to do. Give yourself some compassion. When that voice disappears and you talk sweetly to yourself, talk to yourself. Give yourself that compassion. Your voice doesn't disappear by accident. Well, understanding that you're developing the part of you that you've learned to keep safe, right? So if you are feeling as though when you looked at that, give yourself that compassion. Understand that you possibly may also be moving through a trauma response, meaning that you leave, the 4 F's, you leave, you freeze, well, all those things. And as a woman of color, you have unique psychological stresses that you have been through. You are navigating a system that wasn't built for us. So this is your thing. And this is what you've been labeled. You've been labeled aggressive. And some of these behaviors, I want you to now say, and white women are called assertive. So now your nervous system is learning to protect yourself and making you smaller. So here's your power pause that you're going to do. You're going to take a deep breath. When you feel that way, then exhale that out. Then you're going to adapt to something that when it doesn't serve you and when you're breaking down, we're building you up. And when you're looking at this, remember, find what has already worked for you. Not losing your voice, but leaning in so you can begin to speak with confidence, speak with competence, and be assertive so you can move through that. I've been doing this over 15 years in my clinical practice. I've facilitated many groups. I've seen many things. Your voice recovery isn't about becoming someone new. It's about integrating the parts that you already have. And remember, this intervention that I'm kind of doing here, this is to give you the space where you can adapt your voice. Look at your communication challenges from that cultural space and then move powerfully in it. So this is the space where I want you to be. This is the space where I want you to grow. It's in your voice. Now, yes, you may be dealing with some microaggressions at work, maybe in your intimate relationship, maybe you even code switching, whatever that is. But I want you to lead with your power today. All right. Okay, looks like we had some good talking in the chat here. All right, if you can open up your mic, if you want some little coaching, right now you can open up your mic, or if you want to say something right now, this is your opportunity. I want to thank you so much for joining me today, my sisters. Anyone?
Coach,
Yes.
no, I got something because these calls are divine.
Let me hear what you got, sister.
This was this was on point, I have to say, and I don't know, I can't even see the faces of the women on here, but I still feel like it's a safe space. Um, I did not trust my voice
Mm,
last night with
mm,
my husband. We were he brought a conversation to me and I could not find, it's not even that I couldn't find my voice. I knew that I should not use my voice in that moment. I didn't have the words that were going to be effective, impactful. Um, they just weren't going to be effective and impactful. I'll say that. And I want to thank you though, because I was able, I and hopefully this method is fruitful. I was able to just let it all pause, um, go to the gym, come back and do some things. And now I have written down all of my thoughts so that when we come back to the conversation, my voice is one of strength and not one of emotion. Um, is that okay, or do I just use my voice in that moment? Like, is this method okay?
This method is across the board. That's why we said with intimate relationships at work, anywhere you are.
Okay.
So the pause is, so let me, and thank you so much for sharing. This is a safe space to share. So the pause is for you to collect your thoughts.
Got it.
And
Okay.
also the pause is for also for you can say in the space that you validate what they said. Validation does not necessarily mean agreement, but you heard them.
Okay.
People want to be heard. That's what I've noticed. But in the interim, when something is triggered inside of us, we tend to lose power. And the
Right.
first thing that goes is our voice. That is the
Mhm.
first thing that goes. Now, I want to say this specifically. How I used to lose my voice was I would start screaming and yelling. That's the same way of people going silent. So they're still aggressive. And there are little microaggressions that we do to protect ourselves. The brain says, okay, I gotta protect Lachelle, I have to protect Cheryl, I have to protect you better. I come out swinging with my words. Some people go silent. You know, silent is a killer too. When you don't say nothing, what to someone and you just go silent on them, or that passive aggressiveness that you just keep letting it pile up, and then it gets in your body. And
Right.
you go,
And the question was, you know, do you have anything to say? What are your thoughts? Though, like sometimes you're prompted, you're like almost tempted and coaxed to use your voice in that moment. And my response was, I'm processing. And that's it. And I don't think that I have to determine how long a process, I'm processing. And that means that, I wasn't going to respond last night because I was still processing. So I just want to, are there any time, in your opinion, is there a time frame of how long you're supposed to process?
yeah. So this is a good question. And I, so this is a very good question. So give them a by when you have to. You know why? Even if you say, I'm processing tonight, baby, I'm not able to gather my thoughts for tonight. But maybe by tomorrow morning. And even if tomorrow morning is not good enough for you, like you don't have it, you still come back. You just like at work. It did say, okay, by the time you have this. You can't tell your boss, okay, I'm processing. You tell them, okay, I'll have this to you by such and such such. So you do the same thing for your relationships. It says, okay, I hear you. I don't have an answer for that right now, but give me till the morning. Maybe I can sleep on that. And if you still don't have it in the morning, say, babe, I thought I was going to have it in the morning, but I still need some more time to process what you said. I heard you, but I still need more time.
Thank you. That's great coaching.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Because it validates. Now, let me just say this for everyone on the call that your internal things that we do, we take them personally. That's why I said your power, one of the things about harnessing your power, powering up, is not taking it personally. Because a lot of things that we take personally is really directed at things that has happened to us. And we take that personally. Like I took something, we, Lachelle and I are really friends because I had something with my husband yesterday morning. He said something. He said something. And so I asked a follow-up question about something. And he looked at me like, you should like already know that. And something triggered in my head. Like he think I'm stupid. He think I'm dumb. That's why you're looking at me like that. I had this whole thing in my head, like, you think I'm dumb. And so what I said, I was like, not everybody knows about this particular subject. I didn't know about this. I was asking follow-up question, and I was just like, I would have to follow up question because I need to. Da, da, da. And I just was like, wait a minute. And he looked, and he saw, he did like this, like, yo, like, where is this coming from? And I was triggered. And he didn't say a word. He gave me that look, like, you dummy. But remember, that is my thing. It's right here in the book. That's my trigger. If someone, and he didn't say a word. That's what I'm saying. You're always talking, you're always transacting, we're always communicating. So in that moment, I was triggered. So I was like, I'm sorry. And I walked away. And I said, you know what? He went over there and we kind of like squashed it. But you need to look at yourself when you're triggered. You may not even know. So in the moment, you need to realize who you are and what's showing up for you. All right. Any other comments or question or coaching in this moment? Because I think you guys got your power up fueling this morning. All right.
Good morning, Dr. Cheryl and everyone.
Shawnee.
Hi. You said something in response to Lachelle that people want to be heard. So I speak for personally myself. When you hear people and you listen to them and constantly, but when I speak, I don't get that reciprocated. That shuts me down as well, and it doesn't encourage me to talk more. So, what is it in moments that I can do to change that? Because it does not encourage me to speak or even attempt to speak.
So you're saying when you speak, okay, when you hearing someone out, you hear them
Mhm.
all the way out.
Right,
And when it's your turn to speak, they seem to shut you down.
right.
And you're asking, how does that make you feel, or what can you do in those moments?
What can I do in those moments?
Okay,
Because
good.
I can definitely say how it makes me feel. It really shuts me down. And then a lot of times there have been times when I do or did speak and my words were minimized or diminished.
Yeah.
So in those moments, what is it that I can do? Because I know, as she just stated, there was a moment just last week where I just had to literally just raise my hand, and it was almost a surrender, like I just can't, there's no space for me to speak right now. It's not good for me to speak in this moment. So I had to just literally raise my hand and just surrender. But in those moments where I know when I open my mouth to speak and it's not being received, it's like it's a shutdown for me. It shuts me down, like you said earlier, a silence.
Okay, there's a couple of things you said there that I want to just handle.
Mm-hmm.
So in a safe space and a safe relationship and a safe going back and forth, you can say things like, I heard you, and I want you to know that I heard you. And you can repeat back what they said. Could you do the same for me? Could you just hear me and maybe repeat back what we said to each other? That way I know that I got you and you got me. Now that's a safe relationship that you'll be able to do that. On another hand, now if you're really safe or you feel like you can say this, I notice possibly, and you may not notice this, I notice that I hear your thoughts, but I don't completely feel like you hear mine. And I want to fix that. Can we? That is something like if you're in a relationship that means something to you and in that space, because you shutting down doesn't fix it. It just continues to happen. Now, do you feel safe enough to be able to say those things that I just said?
I honestly have approached it in that way before, but there is no safety at this time, no, ma'am.
Yeah. So this is a good thing. I'm gonna say this. When there's when someone doesn't feel safe in the relationship to feel like they're being heard, that's a big indicator of the communication breakdown. So with communication, that is how we grow with each other. That's how we move with each other. It's communication. That's the first thing. When communication goes, that's why the first thing is that your voice is shut down. Now, I noticed that when you said that you don't feel safe in the conversation or the communication, there are some things that you can do for yourself to make you be okay. Now, the first thing that I want you to do is I want you to actually identify when you have these conversations, what are you actually deciding to say? And what do you actually want to be heard in that moment? Because in that moment, you're not being heard, right? Am I saying that correctly?
Yes, you're correct.
Okay. So in that moment when you feel like you're not being heard, and when someone is doing that, you got to identify, I don't feel safe with my truth, right? I don't even trust that you'll actually listen when it's my turn. So I shut down. I think that when every time I speak up in my relationship, my job, I tend to stay quiet. So what I'm gonna say to you is, how do I access this relationship differently? So the access there, you do not have access. So you got to create first safety. Before you can even go anywhere, you got to create safety. When you don't have safety in a relationship, there is no, you will never feel heard. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So first there's got to be safety. Why I can't speak up in this relationship? What do I need for it to, what do I need for me to feel safe? You gotta identify that. If you don't feel safe in that conversation, if you don't feel safety, before you have any foundation, you gotta have safety. And in that space, you do not, that relationship dynamic, there's a power dynamic. And you feel like you have no power in that relationship. So whatever the relationship is that there has to be established safety. Think about you on the road. Think about you on the road. The first thing before we get on the road is that they're going to give you a whole bunch of questions and think how to keep you and everyone on the road safe. You remember taking that exam probably long ago, right? But if there's no safety, there's no real communication. If there's no safety, there's a power imbalance. If there's no safety, you have to create the safety. And fundamentally, your communication has to be healthy on both areas for in order for you to begin to move. So let's talk about the communication for you. How do I speak? If the relationship in your voice is the relationship where my voice can be actually heard safe, and you said no. So safety assessment is the first thing, then your voice strategy. Because feeling safe means I'm able to say what I need to say. And then don't feel judged by it. But then with you, Shawnee, you possibly need to continue to do these areas with this person that focus your energy on relationships that are safe. I know that that may be a challenge for you if the person is close to you, but then there needs to be boundaries. Let the person know they are hurting you. That's important. That statement that you just said, or I didn't say that specific thing. Does that make sense, Shawnee?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. It
You're
makes
welcome. You're welcome. So Nicole asks, Nicole asks, how do you create safety? I think I answered it, but did I answer it, Nicole? Just write in the text
A
again.
little more clarification, like
Okay.
steps.
Okay. So Nicole needs steps. Okay. So steps to safety. Let me in a communication. Let me just say that the first thing that I want you to do. The first thing you need to do is acknowledge that you're not safe. That's the first thing you got to do in creating these steps for safety in a communication is what is my indicators that it's not safe? Because Shawnee indicator was she shuts down, she gets quiet. So the first thing is that you got to acknowledge it. The second thing is you can use the pause method. You got to pause in the moment. You got to pause in the moment. And then you need to identify what are the things I'm going to do? What's my next step? So to identify it, you got to do the inventory. Like what was said? What was actually done? And this is just in communication, Nicole. This not means that you're fighting someone or anything like that. This is just in communication. When you are not safe, you've got to pause because you may say or do something that would damage it even more. Because the first thing we want to do is protect ourselves. Then, if possible, Nicole, you can create to create a safety space. If it's a boss or a family member or whatever, you feel vulnerable and you might be hurt. You can try to create that space of mutual power, little by little, where you protecting yourself, where you feel like the boundaries that you're creating those boundaries. That's how she can begin, or you can begin to do that. Boundary setting is important. That's where you can evaluate what is my solution that I can do. And then you invest in your time and your voice and your energy in doing those things repeatedly over and over and over again. Remember, if she has to stay in this relationship, you keep doing the same thing over and over and over to establish safety. So, say if it's her boss, she can't do anything about her boss. If she doesn't feel, she feels like she's being shut down, you can create a space of safety. So the first thing, second thing, third thing, fourth thing, create that. So the first thing you pause, you acknowledge was what happened. Second thing, you move in that space of understanding you're going to identify and inventory it. This is what comes up for me. This is what comes up for me next. This is what comes up for me next. Then you go and evaluate what you can do and put some strategies there. And then keep rinsing and repeating it. Does that make sense, Nicole?
Yeah, it all comes back to pies. Yeah.
Correct. All right. Anybody else? All right. This was a great, great, great call once again, powering you up for the day. I'm super excited to have you all here moving in the space of understanding that you have a choice. You have a choice to interrupt those internal patterns. You have a choice to begin to move in your power. You do have the power. And I want you to begin to move in your power today. Don't let anything stop you. You have the power. I want to invite you to come be with me. Go ahead. I'm going to be having Michelle and I are going to be having a book signing on September 27th. Also, I'm going to be running a workshop. There's going to be some things that I'm going to be doing, speaking in multiple places. So your voice is power. Remember that. Your life is powerful. Anything you desire, don't give up. The world needs you. The world needs you to be, stop waiting for permission to be you. Remember, girl, you cute. And your voice changes everything. Peace and blessings. I see you, Lachelle. Go ahead and run on that treadmill, girl. I see you. Love you to life, everyone. Thank you, Sharonda, Lachelle, Danielle, Shawnee, Nicole, Irene, and Charlene. Peace and blessings to you. Have a wonderful and blessed day. Until next week. Have a good one.
Your voice is divine. Now speak.